lots going on in the sports world today, including Caitlin Clark. She is going for a big time record. Not for sure what it is off the top of my head, but I was just listening to it a while ago on the Pat McAfee show. He was talking about that. Tickets to this game is around $250. That's average. That's to get in. That's as much as or more as some college football games. So I'll be watching that tonight. So probably by the time y'all see this, she has already played and probably have broken the record already, but I will definitely be watching that. Welcome to my dorm room. I have been putting off this podcast / YouTube channel. I want to do a podcast, I want to do a YouTube channel, so why not do them both? And it's going to take a little while to figure out how I'm going to do this. I have some ideas, but hey, why not just go ahead and get started? We've got a loaded show today. For the first episode, it is loaded, y'all. We've already got an interview. Plano East coach, head coach Matt Wester will join us. He has got the Plano East basketball team 33-0. Now, here's this. A Texas 6A basketball team has never went undefeated and won the state championship. And he'll mention in the interview that Plano up the road went undefeated a couple of years ago, but they did not make the state championship. However, they had the chance to do this, and I've seen this team play, and y'all, they are fun to watch play. And don't want to speak too soon, but they look unbeatable. They are fun to watch play. Watched them play against Marcus a couple of weeks ago, and this team is really good. Coach Wester will join us in a few minutes on the show. Other than that, we'll be talking about girls basketball playoffs. Was down in Glen Rose about a week ago watching those girls play. They got a very senior-loaded team, and they are saying this year, this is the year. This is the year we're going to San Antonio. So a lot of San Antonio goals in sight for these teams this year. So Caitlin Clark, as I said, she's going on tonight. She'll be playing. I'll be watching that. But speaking of girls basketball, let's get into the playoffs. Let's look at 6A, sort of what we've got going on here. So 6A, we've got DeSoto number 1. These rankings are all by the Texas Association of Basketball Coaches. These are not my rankings, but it's kind of just going on, something to go by. In 6A, you got DeSoto. They are 23-5. Let's look at where they are going to be. Number 1, DeSoto. Let's see who they play. I think they're over here. So DeSoto will play Royce City. So that'll be a good matchup. See the preview right here. I know I've got my computer. So the Bulldogs are 30-4. That will be a decent matchup, and that is actually tomorrow. And that is where I may be. I'm going to call that right now, actually. I may have to go and check that game out. So, big time game right there. Girls basketball. Right now, we are in the area round in girls basketball. South Lake, they've got a great team as well. They play America's High School Friday. So, by the time you're probably watching this, teams will either have played or played. So, kind of announcing who I think is going to win it. Friendship and Crowley, they play Friday night as well. The matchup that I'm really looking forward to and I'm hoping to go to next Monday is South Grand Prairie versus Highland Park. Meaning I'm thinking South Grand Prairie will beat Braswell. This Braswell team is a good team and not someone you want to sleep on. They are 28-6. And Highland Park versus Island. I've got the Scots taking this. Now, Highland Park and Allen, they match up pretty well. Allen is 26-9. Highland Park is 26-8. But I got the Scots taking that. Those are a few games in 6A to look out for. But let's look at regions 3 and 4 on 6A as well. So you got Pearland and Westbrook, but it says they have already played. I don't know how, but it says they have. You got Still and Vandergrift, and it also says they have already played. Unless they played last night, which would be Wednesday night. I'm going to have to figure out how to do these, like before everything because the playoffs, like, it happens so quick. Teams are playing, 2 times a week, so it's kind of harder to do this. But when we start talking about baseball and softball in the regular season and football in the regular season, these videos, y'all will be more up to date. But right now, basketball is sort of the thing that's going on and that needs to be talked about the most. So that's in 6A. Probably should have wrote some teams down to actually talk about, but let's look at 5A. So 5A, we got Monterey and El Paso. So let's look at the details on this. So Monterey is 30-5, and they have Alea Chavez as their leading scorer. She scored almost 3,000 points. It's insane how good she is. That'll be interesting to see how they do against an El Paso team whose record is 24-9, so not too bad. And they're pretty close to each other out there in West Texas, so it'd be interesting to see what happens there and how far can this Monterey team go. I'm thinking they can go pretty far in 5A. Of course, in 4A, we've got Glen Rose. We've got Canyon playing. So Canyon plays Clint. Let's look at who Glen Rose plays. Glen Rose plays Bridgeport. So those are two good teams that will probably meet, I'm thinking, in the regional semifinals. Not to get too ahead of myself, but these are going to be some good teams. And all those will be played. A lot of those will be played at Lubbock Christian, so kind of close. They'll have to travel pretty far. This Glen Rose team will. And in 3A, let's look at the right side of this bracket here. So Lorena plays Rice, which I like this matchup a lot. Lorena is 28-6, 8-3 in district, but Rice is 21-5 and 4-4. I just says neutral, not district. My bad on that. So decent records. All of those will be played at Midway High School, or at least the regional finals will be played at Midway High School. Maybe not the games themselves. I'm not for sure where they will be played. It doesn't say right here. Let's look at the right side of the bracket for 2A. So you got Shiner versus Big Sandy. Now, this Shiner team is 30-2. They're really good this year. Big Sandy is 15-7. They're 2-2 neutral site, so could, be decent for them as far as how they play on a neutral site. So they both have 2 losses on a neutral site. So decent matchup right there. The game will be at Waller. In 1A, we've got Milford 17. They're 17-4, and then we've got Slocum, which is 20-12. And this game will be played at the Burger. I can't really see it, but the Burger somewhere out there. So that's 1A, and that is all the girls' matchups that I kind of see that will be decent games. So we'll see what happens in the girls' playoffs, and we'll be up to date more next week on who plays where and who plays what. So that is the girls' side. Now, before we get into the boys' side, I first and foremost want to thank him for joining me on the show. It was a phenomenal interview. I think I asked some pretty decent questions. I think you liked them. But without further ado, let's welcome Coach Matt Wester, the head coach of the 33-0 Plano East Panthers. So enjoy my interview with Coach Matt Wester. Congrats, by the way, on going 33-0.
Thank you.
Super impressive, super impressive. So with our first question here, with 11 seniors, you probably knew y'all were going to be pretty good, but did you expect to go undefeated this season, especially 33-0?
No, the answer would be no on that one. I think we knew we were going to have a good team. We knew it'd be special, but to my knowledge, I don't think a 6A team in Texas has ever gone undefeated. I know a couple finished the regular season undefeated, but we knew we were going to be good and we wanted to be good. We weren't really aiming to do something no one else has done yet. So I know a couple of years ago, Plano Senior went undefeated in the regular season, but we were just honestly just trying to win the first game of the year and then just trying to win the next one, all year long.
Because I remember a lot of people were talking about y'all having a good team this year, and then all of a sudden y'all beat Stony Point, and I feel like that got the whole state's attention. Okay, Plano East, there's somebody we need to be watching this year.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell how good a team is when they're not playing the same competition, or they're not playing each other. And so for us, like Stony Point, obviously is a championship game of a big tournament, and it was fun to win. But more than anything, it was just a measuring stick. Like everybody knows they might have the best player in the state, one of the 2 or 3 best players in the state. They've got an incredible win record the last couple of years, ranked number 1 in most polls. Mm-hmm. It was either us or them ranked number 1. Pardon me. And so it's really just, hey, if we're going to win state, we got to be better than this team. And so that was a measuring stick. If we'd lost it, we could still accomplish our goals. But it was nice going into that game and coming out with a win. Especially, I think we felt like we could play a little bit better than we did.
Wow, unbelievable! And do y'all know who y'all are playing Tuesday just yet?
Yeah, we're actually going to play Monday. We're going to play against Rock Hill High School at Hebron at 6:00. So it's probably a little bit better for us to play on Monday. So we're going to play Monday at 6.
Prosper Rock Hill. So yeah. do you feel the pressure? Do you and your guys, do y'all feel the pressure to win it all? What was the sort of the expectations coming in during the season and the expectations now?
I would say there's been very little pressure. I think the kids, they're all best friends. They're all just really enjoying the moment and enjoying where their feet are right now. And I think the pressure they put on themselves is to win on Monday. And then we'll just take it one game at a time. Like if you're with our guys in the locker room or a team meeting or in the huddle, like they don't look like they have a care in the world. They're just happy to be here, happy to be playing when everyone else, half the teams in Texas, their season's over. They're really just happy to be here.
I was able to watch y'all play versus Marcus a couple of weeks ago at Marcus, and I was just blown away by that carefree, but also very disciplined as well, and that attitude your guys they carry on the court. It was very fun to watch.
Well, thank you. Yeah, they have a lot of experience playing together. So even like Isaiah and John, they're about to hopefully get their 100th win here in a couple, the next week. So Isaiah started for like over 110 games, 120 games, sorry. So they just have a ton of experience. I think we had 8 of them on varsity as sophomores. And so the discipline nature has come through, a lot of experience and a lot of, refiner's fire a little bit, being in the playoffs last year, losing to Lake Highlands in the second round. But and then they've also played together like their whole lives, a fairly high level AAU basketball, and we've just tried to play the best teams we could play all year long.
Speaking of the past years, we've seen a lot of steady improvement over the past few years, from 10-13 3 years ago to 24-9, and then last year 31-6, and now of course the undefeated season this year. Can you tell me about the process that kind of you went through as the coach with these guys, that they've developed and become better throughout the years?
Yeah, it's been a long process. The seniors you're all talking about, they've been used to winning. They won in middle school, and then we kind of split them up in 9th grade. We put some on varsity, some on JV, and some on the freshman team. And really, they were successful at all levels. And on varsity, mentioned we'd only won 10 games, but all the games we lost were by less than all but one was by less than 8 points. So they were we knew like we weren't that far from being a pretty successful team. And so, their sophomore year, I think they experienced a lot of success. I think we won our first 20 games. And then we weren't playing teams that were quite as good as our district. So right. We won our first 20. We won 20 of our first 21 games. And then, we missed the playoffs by 1 spot. But we knew we were bringing so many guys back that we played a tougher schedule the next year, because we just knew that like hey, if we're going to be successful in district, we got to test ourselves a little bit more before district. And we went 31-5, and then as you mentioned, we played Lake Highlands that second round. Lake Highlands is the best team in Texas. They only lost to teams that weren't in UIL, and we were lost to them by 4. So we were sitting there at the end of the year last year thinking, man, that if they're the best team in Texas and they're better than us, maybe 4 or 5 points better than us, what does it take to close that gap and make so we can get to their level? And we put, really a year of really hard work into trying to be as good or better than Lake Highlands was last year.
One numbers that impresses me so much is 9 seniors on the team have a 4.0 GPA. That is just astounding to me.
Yeah. Our locker room and film sessions are sometimes different than others. They're talking about formulas and when assignments are due, but yeah, their parents have high expectations for them, and they have high expectations for themselves. Several of the kids, you just know they're going to change the world, and it starts with what happens in the classroom, and then hopefully we're building some of the soft skills that it takes to take that classroom knowledge to go out and change the world later.
For people in the state who may not know of Plano East, what is like the makeup of the team as far as leaders? You told me a little bit about academically. What about on the team itself?
Yeah, I guess the big story, one of our big stories is the emergence of DJ Hall. He's our one kid with that's being recruited by, I don't know, like 17, 18 Division I schools, and he's a junior. Excuse me. And as a sophomore, he just kind of barely made the team as a sophomore, and then as the year went on, he got just improved so rapidly that we're like, oh, we have something pretty special here. And last year he split time with Corey Upkins, who's playing JUCO ball now, and this year he's on the court all the time, and he's a big impact player. He's one of the more skilled players you'll meet. So that's been a big story, and then the rest of them are all just really great friends. Have been friends for a long, long time. Played together forever. I know you've already mentioned that, but um, Isaiah and John are both going to be 4-year varsity players. Isaiah's basically been our starting point guard for 4 years. And then Jordan Mizell was our district MVP last year, co-MVP. And Jordan and Isaiah were both all-region players, as Region 1 all-region players as juniors. So we have a tough group of kids who have a lot of experience and have won games in a lot of different ways throughout, in the last 2 or 3 years.
That's awesome. For those in closing, what about the community, the Plano East community? How has the support been from them with the undefeated season and just the success y'all have had over the years to the guys who grew up there that they've watched play since they were little?
Yeah, that's a neat question. So, I'm from a small town or smaller town. I'm from West Texas, and so you have like real rivalries out there and communities, and you turn the lights off in town when you go to the football game. But here's been a little bit different, but in Plano, you still have East Side families, West Side families, Central families, and it feels a little bit like a small town. So there's absolutely a community vibe here that you may not get other places in the Metroplex. The team has made a pretty cool connection with Jimmy King. So Jimmy's back in town, and he's been around. He helped coach the team 2 years in a row in fall shootouts, and we had a Jimmy King night first week of January. And one of the things they talked about, or like the feedback about Jimmy King, was when he was here in '91, there was just this really special buzz to the gym and around town, and like everybody was talking about him. Everybody wanted to be at the gym on Friday night and Tuesday night, and which I imagine is true. He's the first McDonald's All-American in the history of Texas, and I think what we have now is a similar buzz. So what Jimmy did is '91, he's the first district champion. He was on the first Plano East team that had a district champion, first playoff win, and it really lit the community on fire for playing basketball. And I from what I understand, the buzz in the community now, and the people in the gym, and the way the kids are just very popular, and media is coming to the game and covering it well. I feel like we have a similar buzz that should set us up for future success.
That's awesome. I've seen pictures of the whole community there, and it looks like those home games must be fun and lots of memories for the whole school there to enjoy this
Yeah.
special season.
Yeah, this last home game last night, we made it alumni night. We had over 70 alumni RSVP and show up, and we got them some reserve seating. So it was a blast to celebrate the district championship, the back-to-back district championship, the cap of the undefeated regular season, and then just all these players you coach. I've been here for 12 years, so a lot of the players I coached are now in their 20s or 30s, and then guys older than me that played here. We had guys drive in from San Antonio and fly in from out of state, just to see the special team. So it was neat being able to connect them with like players from the past.
Wow, I can imagine, Coach. Well, again, congratulations on the fantastic season. Y'all are so much fun to watch play, and of course, got the whole state buzzed around y'all. And I can't wait to follow y'all more myself. But again, Coach, best of luck in the playoffs, and we'll be following y'all from here. What an interview. We want to thank him again for joining us on the show, the first of many interviews of the great talent that this state has in coaches and players. So it was fun getting to know him and just getting to know more about that Plano East basketball team that he coaches. 9 players with a 4.0 GPA. That is phenomenal, and that says a lot about what he is doing off the court as well as on the court. Now, let's get into some boys high school basketball here in the state of Texas. So we sort of just talked about our 6A team with the Coach Wester interview, so let's move to 5A to see what team can be your sleeper in the 5A playoff bracket. So there is no playoff bracket yet in 5A or 6A or anything to do with boys basketball. So let's go look at the rankings and just talk about some teams in 5A and who I like to maybe make it to San Antonio. So let's look. So we have the 5A basketball rankings right here, as I said, brought to you by the Texas Association of Basketball Coaches. Let's look. So number 1 is Lancaster. So they're the number 1 team in 5A. They're 22-5. I really like this Amarillo team as well as the Lancaster team, but I think Amarillo is due to make it to a state championship. They've got a really good team up there. I covered the Colony last night, Tuesday night, and wow, have they got a good basketball team. So young, all sophomore, basically all sophomores, very young starting 5. This team will be someone to watch in the future. And you also got Frisco Lone Star and Mansfield Summit in the top 10 as well. And how about this Longview team, who is ranked number 16? They are some sleepers. So they won their district for the first time in a while, and they could be interesting in the playoffs as well. So let's move to 4A. You have got Faith Family in there, and then you've also got Dallas Carter. They've had some great basketball teams over the years. You've got all Iowa Colony and Atascadero as well. But look at that Bernie team. Bernie is 28-5. Could be interesting to see what they do as well. In Class 3A, you've got San Antonio Cole High School. I believe that's where Shaquille O'Neal graduated from. So I like them a lot, but you've got the Hitchcock team as well, and they're number 1 in 3A. So they are really good this year, and they are showing a lot of promise in 3A. So 2A, you've got Lipen. Last year, they won at both their girls and their boys basketball, won the state championship game, first time since like 2008, I believe. And then in Class 1A, you've got Grafford. They're 27-4, and Jayton, they're 30-3. But you've also got this Texline team as well. Small little town, Panhandle of Texas. I love it. They've got a great basketball team, the Texline Tornadoes. So those are some teams to watch out for. Next week, when we come back, I will show you more of an in-depth on what's happening within Texas high school basketball. As I said, these teams play. The guys play starting Monday and Tuesday, but the girls, they play tonight and Friday night. So when I come back, or when you're watching this, it will be Friday, hopefully, or somewhere around then. So, but I'll let y'all know in the future, going forward, how this show will work out and what to expect from there. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see y'all in the next video. Be sure to follow me on my socials linked down below.